What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the Play the Fight Song College Football Show. Good morning. Welcome into the New Year's Eve special as we break down some of the matchups for the college football playoff quarterfinal, which are starting tonight and all day tomorrow. Gentlemen, massive matchups, bowl season in full swing. We've had awesome games, overtime games coming down to the last play. Everything you could ever imagine as a college football fan. If you've never been a part of the show before, welcome into college football heaven. We will talk about these games today through bowl season on the 2nd, I believe. But the full crew is here. Jake, JP, and Reese this morning to talk college football with us. Jake, how are we doing this morning? We ready to talk college football playoff? There's some bowl games, awesome games today before that game kicks off. We're ready to kick in the new year with some more college football.
Yeah, couldn't be better right now. Couldn't have asked for a better start to my 2026. I think we've got a slate of 4 games that are going to be awesome. But, of course, this crew doesn't forget about 4. I think we get 4 awesome bowl games today as well, leading up to Ohio State, Miami tonight. And then on top of that, start my podcast with coffee. I usually don't get to do that. So that's also exciting in itself. I feel as if,
Miller Lite, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I went from Miller Lite to coffee now. I feel as if a little bit of my my college football sicko-ness got stripped away from me last night for going to bed too early, though, and missing the end of the Alamo Bowl. I did not. Girlfriend had to
Light Dynasty, but he's in bed early.
I was in bed. Somebody had to work today. Not me, but somebody else had to work today. So
she said girlfriend, you got to check that.
Somebody's got to make the world go round.
It's like, let's go to bed. I was like, but it's the second quarter. I was like, this is not even halftime yet. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, that's tough. Jake, I will make a quick point. You said girlfriend, it's fiance. Now you're an engaged man. Next step in your engagement, Jake.
She went backwards. She went backwards progression.
My wife is currently driving right now to get me coffee. So that's your next step in your marriage. See if you
that's she went to get herself coffee this morning. I'm a man. I brew myself some black coffee every single morning. 6 cups.
And he throws a dip in and has a cigarette too.
Yeah,
that's next.
Washes the sunrise over the canyon.
And then he looks over a credit card bill at the end of the month, and if it's not that number, if it's above that number, Jake gets mad. How you doing tonight? Hawks play today at 11
tonight.
Oh yeah, God, I'm full swing of things. Hawks play today at 11. Big time match with Vanderbilt. How are we feeling this morning?
Good, doing well. I, however, was nervous. A little more upset. I watched USC just take away a 3-0 day from me. Up 10 and give up 13 straight. Not 13 straight, 10 straight, and then an overtime touchdown. That one hurt a little bit, but I think that more shows that even if you're not having the star players and a lot of these pieces on some of these bowl game teams, like TCU, for example, dude, brand versus brand, teams want to go win football games, and I think that does a lot more. Than what people.
Oh no! USC didn't care. Don't you know? USC didn't care last night. So the game
for me, it's more so the people and teams that come out and win those games that weren't expected to win. I understand that line dropped pretty significantly from 6.5 to 4.5 at kick. Even maybe if it had even gotten lower, but guys want to play football. There's still really good players out there, right? And I think that is something got lost because we're in the midst of one of the better bowl seasons we've had in the last 5 years. At least 5 years, right?
I wish somebody would have told me the Ken Seal story before the game. Had I known that, I would have bet TCU. That this kid was a TCU fan his entire life, played at Vanderbilt, and then the one game he gets to start for TCU was his last game in the bowl game. Come on, they weren't losing at that point. I didn't know that. Had I known that, I would have put everything I had on TCU.
Give us all the facts before.
Run a story. Where's the capital J journalist out there that are supposed to be running these stories so we can bet properly?
They had it. The one on McAllister was we're just openly talking about this. What did you guys hear?
I love.
This seems like pretty deep stuff we want to be sharing over the airways, but I get it.
Got to get all the information out there. I was excited that USC lost that game so Nebraska doesn't become the first Big Ten team to lose during bowl season. So I appreciate that narrative out of the Trojans. But the Big Ten's rolling. I think they're 6-1 now. The SEC is 2-5, 3-5, somewhere around that range. And they're telling you all that bowl season doesn't matter. So we'll talk about that, whether bowl games matter, why they matter. And we'll talk about bowl season thus far before we go into our picks for bowl games from today through the 2nd of January. Reese, how we doing? We haven't heard from you. You're on the new Wi-Fi. Little blurry, but
He's still with us.
Morning. Yeah, still here.
I just can't tell. This is the first time I think we've streamed on the farm since I think the cows got loose like 2 or 3 years ago. So we're trying everything new out, you know?
Iconic moment for the show back in the It's Just Money days. We were mid-show and Reese had to leave because all the cows got out on the farm. So football just means more here. Let's go into college football for today through the 2nd of January. Let's kick it off with the college football playoff quarterfinals that are starting tonight. And let's break down that game. But we're not going to preview it. We're going to talk more storylines and topics for this game. You've seen enough previews. The game is legitimately tonight, people. So let's just break down some questions that we brought up or we typed up for each other to talk through. JP, I'll kind of let you lead this off with Miami and Ohio State in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a couple of things I wanted to kind of touch on. Everybody's heard enough previews on these, talking numbers, talking matchups and everything like that. And we've done our part on that too. But I think there's a deeper part of this, like what happens in certain situations. First one I wrote down here, Jake had another one. You know, what's the Ryan Day storyline if the Buckeyes drop this one? They're a 9.5-point favorite. I think a lot of people like Miami to stay within the number, and to say that this Miami team 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, beats Ohio State didn't seem like that crazy of an idea, right? Like, this is a team that was off to a top 5 start and one of the best looking teams in the country. What's Ohio State do? What does the fan base do? Because this one feels like an unacceptable loss based on where it is and where the expectation was a week ago, or even at this point still. Like, I don't know how you guys feel about it. I think we just like that fuse again. And as long as we see if the fuse is longer this time or if it's a shorter tick on that one. So what are your guys' thoughts on that? You're muted.
Love to hear your thoughts, Parks.
Morning. You got to wake up here. I've been extremely shocked by what I've heard from Ohio State fans. I think it's been more what I've seen is like a national narrative of Miami having the edge in these position groups, and Ohio State fans just not taking that as the answer. Like, yes, they're the defending national champions and they've been consistent all year long, but you have the numbers on the screen for a reason right in front of you. They're very similar on paper. Like, this Miami team is extremely talented, and I don't know if Ohio State fans will lose their minds if they lose this game, but it's more likely than not. This game, you are a pretty heavy favorite. And I think that's just based on the computer numbers. But like, Miami is a team that's gone into tough environments and won. We're now at neutral sites. Like, it's a battle-tested team that we just watched beat a team that pretty much rolled for the majority of the SEC. I don't want to say like they'll call for his head, but it feels like more of a situation where it's a lose-lose. Like, if you win, you're a 10-point favorite. And if you don't, then all hell could break loose, and we're back to the same square one of if Ryan Day's the guy anymore after a Miami team that nobody thought would make it wins this game. Reese?
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, going from a Miami team that we saw earlier in the year to a Miami team we didn't think was even in, and then you lose to them, I think that changes things.
No, I think you're talking about, like, we saw going into College Station, I think was huge for Miami. Like, you drop the games to Louisville, you drop the game to SMU. Like, are they going to go into College Station to beat a Marcel Reed team that's been, flying around with a solid defense? So, like, that win in and of itself, I think this year proves the growth that Chris Ball and this team have had. I mean, you're looking at Ruben Bain, who's going to be a first rounder. Like, they went in the portal and they got Carson Beck, who, he wasn't the best quarterback. He wasn't a Heisman contender this year, but like, he was serviceable. Yeah, he lost him a couple games, but like, in that game, he just did what he needed to do to help them win that football game. But then it's also like, look at the team that they had last year. They were the high flying offense. To this year, they are just what I think the 6th best scoring defense in the country. Like, they found the needs that they needed to fix. Like, they got extremely better in the trenches. And I think, like, when it comes down to this game, like, everybody's made the playoff at this point. So you just look at dude versus dude and skill versus skill. And I think Miami has a shot to match up. I think in the trenches, Miami matches up well. But in the secondary, they have better weapons, obviously, compared to they had last year. But it's also, can they get the run game going and stop Ohio State and Julian Sain down? I think that's kind of where the issues arise for Miami in this one.
I think it's such a benefit for them to have just played that A&M game too, because like I think the recipe's out where if Miami is going to win this game, it's got to be damn near picture the same of what they just did in A&M, where it's 3-3, 6-3, like this is absolute dogfight, which is really good unless it's Iowa involved on the field. Then that's where it goes. But what do you see on it, Jake?
I think the Indiana blueprint for Miami, like it's the most recent film you have. Like I think that's
Right.
the route you got to take if you want to win the football game tonight. But going back to JP's first original point about the Ryan Day stuff, I'm not an Ohio State fan, so I'm not an overreactionary, irrational human.
You're a college football fan, so you are both of those
Most
things.
privileged fan base in all of college sports. I'll say it that way. And I don't hate Ohio State fans, but
There's
most
one in Tuscaloosa I'd like to argue with that. But
My team
never been worse than 7-5 in the history of the program. Only program that's ever done that, JP. 8-4 or better since the start of it. It's ridiculous.
My team has lost 50 guys, and I feel like I'm pretty rational about it. So I'm trying to be as like whatever. I mean, Ohio State, you debunked the Michigan thing. I mean, you are way ahead of Michigan at this point with their coaching scenario they got going on and stuff like that. And you finally beat them by double digits. You just won a national title last year. Correct. You are a 9.5-point favorite. And if you lose tonight, do I want you to just be like, oh, well, good season? No, but I don't think it's the end of the world either. Is this one of those games, guys, we look back in a couple of weeks and be like, you guys remember when Miami was a 9.5-point underdog to Ohio State? That just kind of seemed crazy because this is the same Miami team that JP mentioned. This was a top 5 football team like, 7 weeks ago? Mm-hmm. So they can definitely go. I think they've got the body types to go blow for blow with Ohio State this weekend. Guys, the running joke, either way, losing side, the running joke is going to be around. It's either Cristobal can't win the big game or Ryan Day was landed on third base and he can't coach a really good roster.
I love the third base argument.
You know, I think either way we're going to have that because college football fans just love to run to Twitter as soon as the game happens. So to me, nothing changes for Ryan Day. I think he's a top 3 coach in college football. I think he's a really good football coach. The only thing is maybe we'll see how this plays out against a really good Miami defense, but maybe we go into next year and you do look for another real play caller again to kind of take that over like Chip Kelly did last year and brought you a national title where you are like an NFL coach, your GM, you were just focused on the team. You're not worried about one side of the ball, get a couple of really good coordinators, and then you can just coach a really good roster.
That's Chip Kelly of Northwestern to you now, by the way.
Yeah.
Quick plug there. But a crazy hire. All right, Jake, let's flip it to your question, your topic of conversation for this game. What do you got?
Yeah, kind of goes in hand, right? That running joke. Because if Ryan Day wins tonight, what's going to be the other running joke, guys? Miami can't win a big game. Maybe it's a 1-score game. Cristobal can't finish 1-score games. That's the biggest thing to me. Does Miami need a win tonight to be perceived as one of those big name brands again, kind of like they were in the early 2000s? And honestly, if they do get the win tonight, they do pull off the upset. It's not like they won the national championship yet. So does a win tonight even solidify that as one of the big name brands in college football? Like how much does this game really mean to Miami tonight going forward for maybe the next 5 to 10 years? Because you already had the Jeremiah Smith comments about, you know, they're lighting gasoline on this one. Jeremiah Smith, if you hadn't seen it, said, well, if Miami was basically more relevant when I was in high school, I would have committed to Miami. And I thought Cristobal's answer was really good coach speak and kind of just dodged the question. So is this one really mean a bunch to Miami tonight?
I would think it does. I think it's not just taking down Ohio State and being the big brand that they are, but it's also the defending national champion. And as a team that kind of got passed over for the bad losses that they had, or the one bad loss, I should say, that they had that turned out to be with Louisville and Miami, people kind of were like, oh, there's old Miami, there's Cristobal again. And then all of a sudden, here they come. Then they win a game in the SEC on the road in the first round. And now they have a chance to slay the almighty. They have a chance to go in and take care of business as a heavy underdog and prove the country, Vegas, majority of college football fans wrong. A lot of the national media outside of the YouTube family, of course. But if they win this game, gents, like it's going to be hard to stop that train in Miami with the money that rolls through that program, with the athletes in the area of Florida. Like this could be the spark plug to then bring them back, and more people will just realize it after it happens. But there's everything on the table for the Canes to become a national brand after this game.
I think there's two ways of looking at this. Like, I think if you are paying enough attention to college football beyond just a casual, right? Like, we're not just talking people who tune in on Saturdays and don't really take in like shows throughout the week, or, you know, they're there and they watch the game and they're at the tailgate. That person may look at Miami as a different form, like not like a post 2007 Miami. It's like, they're all right. They're there, right? They used to have some history. And so they would take that as, yeah, like, man, they didn't beat Ohio State. They really can't be that good, right? They can't be that good. I, on the other hand, like, the people who have kind of been around it and taken a lot of college football can see the difference, win or lose in this situation, to me, of this Miami and Miami of years past. This Miami clearly looks different and is more talented than in years past, especially last year's team. Give me 2 years ago, even those Brad Kaya teams,
even the clock management.
Yeah, like those Miami teams were good, but never got over a hump. I don't think this is just your speed bump down the road to hit as a checkpoint. This is Ohio State. This is a team that had a chance as number one majority of the year, had a chance to win Big Ten title. Like, this is not the same old, like, oh, you couldn't beat the top dog. Like, if they got Ole Miss here, or if they got fed in Oregon, or if they got fed somebody that's not like.
So to the non-casual, a loss doesn't change your opinion tonight.
No, it doesn't change mine. But the line is 9.5. Like, I think it is what it is. Now, if they will get boat raced, it's kind of like something else happened. But if they're in this thing and it's 7 to 14 points, like, isn't that what you expected? So how are you going to change your perception on a team based on exactly hitting that exact expectation of them? So, like, this is a much better Miami team. The normal person or the casual out there is going to be like, yeah, well, same thing. Like, we just act like they're any good. And it's like, no, they played Ohio State. They didn't go play Georgia Tech. They didn't go play BYU. They didn't go play whoever, right? This isn't an average to above average college football team. This is the best of the best.
Literally the best of the best on defense. Reese?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think, like JB just hit on the nail on the head. Like, if you're playing, you know, an Ole Miss in this situation, or like a BYU or Georgia Tech who got in, like, yeah, if you lose that to kind of a lesser program with, you know, not the brand power that Miami has, then yeah, there's questions about Cristobal or whatever you want to say for this team. But like, I kind of just go back to, like I said, like, Miami last year offensively was a powerhouse, and then defensively Syracuse went and put like 50 on them in our place. Like, was awesome to watch. But like, it's just a different Miami football team. Like, they got a new defensive coordinator. They got guys in the portal. Like, they're getting that brand power back. So like, a win here, yeah, absolutely huge, because now you're like, oh, maybe these guys in Florida want to stick around more. These guys in Georgia or Louisiana, or wherever it is, like, they want to stick around here a little bit more versus kind of going up north or wherever they're going to go. Like, and Cristobal has shown, like, he can be a good coach. He's improving with the clock management. JP just mentioned too. It's just steps in the right direction, but like, a loss doesn't change my opinion, I think, on this season. Like, we see what Miami does every year when it gets to be October, November. Like, they're going to drop one that just doesn't make any sense. But when it's time to play some good football, they can play some good football. So like, if they win this one, I wouldn't be amazed, but I think it would be a very, very solid step forward for this program, kind of going into NIL and where football is going the next couple of years.
I'll kind of base my question off of this one, Jake, but this is entirety to the ACC. Does this change the narrative of the college football casual for the ACC if Miami's competitive tonight? Because this isn't a team that even played in the conference title, or are they still looking at it like, hey, this is Duke won this conference, right? Like, is there no coming back in the mind of the college football casual, even if Miami's competitive tonight?
I think right now it is, because I think Jim Phillips just has that conference so screwed up right now with the tiebreakers. Like, they can go on to win the national title, and the running joke is still that Duke won your conference title at 7-5.
Yeah.
So you made that bet. It's tucked in. It's put away already. Like, there's no undoing it. I mean, maybe a national championship could change that perspective, but a lot of it is like, there's a lot of still there. It'll once this all goes away and the playoff is done in a month, guys, we're gonna go probably back to the same thing with like, what's Clemson, Miami, and Florida State gonna do? Like, what's their next move? How are they gonna try and get out of the ACC? You know, because that lawsuit was going on all last season. And I feel like we'll have nothing else to talk about in a couple of months.
God, I don't miss those. Yeah.
Like it's not like when you think of the Big 12, you just think of, for at least right now, you think of a lot of good teams, and it's a very deep and competitive league. When you bring up the ACC, it's like the big brands and a lot of mediocre football. I feel like that's the conversation around the ACC. And then a lot of times right now, your big brands aren't stepping up and winning big football games. Like Clemson hasn't been the same power since the NIL era. Florida State was that joke team that was 14-0 and got snubbed from the playoff. And now Miami finally has, I think this is the last saving grace for the ACC, to be honest. But I don't think it completely changes the narrative of the conference just because of what happened in Charlotte a couple of weeks ago.
I'd argue there's brands that are ready.
Ready, absolutely.
And bring.
Will they?
Bring.
Is the question.
My mind goes to SMU, right, where there's proven money, which is different than most of these ACC schools, right? There's not as many ACC schools throwing money into football like an SMU, a Miami, a Florida State, Clemson in some ways, I guess. For me, it's a tough one because, like Jake said, like Duke won the conference, right? And
you can't erase that. Like it happened. You can't.
People aren't going to be able to be like, oh yeah, but their tiebreakers suck. That's not how history's written, right? There's no asterisks in most cases unless you're a steroid user in baseball or whatever else, right? This is what it is. So it stinks. It is what it is. But you can control your own destiny. You can control the perception of who Miami is. If you're a Miami fan or if you play on Miami, you can control that. So if you go out there and you get in a tight one, I'm kind of thinking like, remember Ohio State, Georgia was at New Year's Eve. The missed field goal Ohio State had, I mean, should have been a 35-yarder, just a complete shank job. That one is giving me eerily similar vibes because I think that Georgia team was really good. Now Ohio State team was really, really good. But this one kind of has that feel where it's going to be like one or two big plays out of absolute studs on the outside and really good defense, and maybe there's a kicker situation here late.
Yeah, it could be, and we just saw the struggles Miami had in that first round matchup. Granted, Jake, I'll plug your wind into the narrative there. Miami missed 3 kicks, and Jake was talking about the wind at A&M. Yeah. But Ohio State was a part of that team. That was actually at midnight on New Year's Eve. I remember that. That was everybody was freaking out.
We're in Des Moines that weekend.
We were in AJ's. Yep.
Yeah, that was
clock struck midnight. That kid pulled left. The stadium pulse was going crazy.
What about you?
That was it. Johnny's.
Anything you think changes for the ACC in the mind of the college football fan with a win or loss tonight? Like, is it drastically for the conference?
No, like just JB says, like Duke won the conference, man, and Virginia was your team that they played against, like, and then Virginia just had that showing in the in their bowl game, and then we haven't seen. I guess Duke's still gonna be playing here too yet, so it might help it a little bit, but then it's also look at what Florida State did this year. They started off high flying with a win against Alabama, and then they just kind of bottomed, as you would call it. So
yeah, they're still trying to get off the mat.
Yeah. It's still an issue, but sure, you go into next year because, at the beginning of this year, we all thought Clemson was going to be, what they were, and then look what happens in the go this year. And now they're questioning if that was going to be around. So ACC next year is a very unique thing to look at. But if Miami can go on and win this one, then obviously they can seem like they're going to be a favorite again.
All right, let's leave that Cotton Bowl there. We've given picks on this game. They'll be on the ATS board. Make sure you follow at Play the Fight Pod on X to catch up with the ATS board, which picks all the bowl games for the next week, as well as the college football quarterfinal games. So make sure you hit the follow button there. Hit the like button on this video. We appreciate all the comments rolling in. I'll give JP a chance to answer, Mike, who came in as an Ohio State fan. Proven money from SMU. Bad choice of words. Great.
It is proven. It will happen.
They do have proven that they are rich. Yes.
Proven there is money.
There's money. Yeah.
Walk around. Is it laundered? Is it clean? Nobody knows. But there is a lot of money down there. All right, let's leave Ohio State and Miami there. Make sure to follow at Play the Fight Pod to see those picks when they drop this afternoon. Got a lot of bowl games, a lot of more college football playoff quarterfinal games to cover. So let's move on to the next one. Make sure you drop a score prediction in the comments for that game. If you hit it on the nose, you get a free No Rivals cap on Play the Fight song. Got to hit it on the nose. One guess per person. So Mike, if you're in the chat, give us the exact score of the Ohio State-Miami game tonight, and we'll get you a No Rivals cap. You got to pick your team, though, because Ohio State soon to be added. Texas Tech and Oregon is the next one. The Orange Bowl. Let's talk narratives and storylines for this one and talk through them. JP, you're up first.
Yeah, for me here, I think there's a couple. I lost my notes here. Bad podcasting.
I got it for you if you need it.
I got it just pulled up.
Tell us JP's question, Jake.
I got it. I said, who's getting more overlooked? And I asked this in this form because I felt like for the majority of since this was announced, this matchup was announced and Oregon won. It was always like, yeah, Oregon's pretty good, but have you seen this Texas Tech team? And it was like people were like, yeah, Oregon's not that good. Texas Tech's good. And then
can I find that show?
Yeah, do you not think the same thing? Because this is all I've been hearing is like
we must listen to different shows. Then
I'm the only one on our show that took Oregon. So there's point one. Point two, like it's during the bowl games when they have only previewed college football playoff during half times of these bowl games, even if it's a 1-point game.
True.
Or like on Twitter and other places, it's like, yeah, I mean, but what's the best team that Oregon's played? But like what's the best look they've had defensively? And it's like, yeah, Tech's pretty good. I just think that you're overlooking Oregon for the majority of all of it. And then the last week it's flipped and the line's kind of snuck into Oregon's favor by like 1.5, nothing crazy. And it's kind of like now Tech feels like they're kind of overlooked and looked at as, a little more of an inferior team, which could completely be false. But it's kind of gone back and forth to you guys. Like who's more overlooked, who's more underrated in this spot? Because both teams have kind of fit both narratives.
I think without question to me, it's who's more overlooked. I would say if I'm answering this right, Texas Tech. Like I think everybody is undermining Texas Tech and what they've done this year, and they're all talking about they lost to Arizona State. Well, Aaron Morton didn't play in that football game, if you guys actually paid attention. And it's all the talk of, Moore is a much better quarterback than Morton. And Oregon's got the better offensive line, and they're more established, and they have the Big Ten money. There's a little bit more recognition this year, I would say, to the Texas Tech defensive line. I think they're giving it a lot of credit. But everything that I hear is if Texas Tech's going to win this football game, it's going to have to be 10-7. It's going to have to be 13-10. So they're completely dismantling Texas Tech's offense and like just not giving it enough credit that Texas Tech will not be able to keep up and score enough points to win this game. That's the narrative and conversation I guess I've heard all week. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, I'll second it. I think Texas Tech, it's all the Big 12 hate. It's people write it off, right? They look at it and they're like, oh, Oregon, they've got Tech. That's the Big 12 bye. It's almost feeling like in the casual's mind, they see the Big 12 team and they're like, yeah, they haven't played anybody. Who'd they beat? Baylor and Colorado and all those teams. But this Texas Tech team, I mean, it's for real. You just saw BYU go and win a game against a top ACC team. And this Texas Tech team drubbed them twice. And one of them in the Big 12 title. Like there is money in this program. Like this is one of the most expensive rosters in college football. Like if Texas Tech goes out and wins this game by 10 plus, it still wouldn't shock me. And I mean, it kind of would, because I do think Oregon is better than given credit for. This is my favorite game of the weekend. I will say that, but I think obviously people undermine Texas Tech, and I probably look like a fan wearing a No Rivals cap. Shout out No Rivals, shop norivals.com. Use code PTFS for free shipping. But seriously, I think the Red Raiders, the emotional side of me, which I always like to pick upon on this show, tells me I want this to be Texas Tech just for the sake of the Big 12 and to shut fans up about.
And it's a big game for the Big 12 narrative. 100%.
Brees?
No, I think it's part of it. I've heard some guys talk about, but it was, like Oregon had the one last year and then they had the bye, and then Ohio State came in and then played them and then, kind of ran it. So it's that rest versus rust debate too. So like that can be part of why Texas Tech might be overlooked. Like, hey, we just saw Oregon play. Yeah, they didn't play as great as they could have in that second half, but, look at who they were also playing for their guys in the second half, and JMU did go on a bit of a run. But Landing, I mean, he's still going to be able to get his guys fired up for the spot. But, yeah, I still think Texas Tech, that defense is an issue. And, I mean, we've seen people go into Autzen. We've seen Indiana go into Autzen. We've seen them win. We've seen Iowa run the ball well on this Oregon team. Like, we've just seen there's kind of some flaws in this Oregon team, whether it's offensively or defensively. And I mean, if it's not for like a perfect Dante Moore pass as well, too, like Iowa probably has a good chance of winning that football game on the road. So sorry, JP.
I'm taking shots
but like
here.
There's just
are we good or are we not?
Just,
like, give me there's holes.
there's holes in this team is what I'm
You know,
trying to say. Like Texas Tech is a team where Schaefer just mentioned all the money. They have everything they have there too. So I think there's more opportunities for them.
Can I rebuttal that or refute that? Whatever
Go
the
ahead.
dictionary says.
It's our show. You can do whatever you want.
That's because they've
It
seen
is our
better
show.
competition. That is just the fact of the matter. They've seen teams that can push their buttons a little bit more. You can't, like, outside of the loss at Arizona State, which Jake did highlight, like there's no
Tech
more.
didn't get Tech
similar
scheduled a
situation to
joke
what
of a
we want.
non-conference. It was the SEC.
Yeah, but that's
non-conference.
normal now. Like, so like we can't really.
This used to
knock
be a
them at this
game like
point.
2 years ago, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. It
Yes,
was a great
this
game.
was- this was a
in
non-con
Lubbock,
game.
yeah.
Yeah, pick six
that
to seal
was
it for Oregon.
Bo Nix, Tyler Shuck, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh my God, what a banger!
Look at
football
us.
game that was.
Look at us.
That's
But
autism.
to me, like it's not the same thing, and it is Oregon playing a tougher schedule. It is not, that has nothing to do with the Big 12. I think the Big 12 is great. I think BYU should have been in a legitimate conversation to have a shot in the college football playoff.
Yes.
But it's not the same. Yet, yes, you saw that there were more holes because they were pressed and pushed a little bit harder in some spots. There was not a team in the Big 12 that was going to sit up and down the offensive defensive line like an Iowa did to Oregon, like an Indiana did to Oregon, even like a Washington did at times to Oregon. Like there's not. You weren't going to see an exposed.
Oh, here we go.
I mean,
No, I don't have
argue
any.
on that.
No,
That's
I
why I'm
just,
saying,
it,
like,
I'm just
if I'm
laughing.
out here playing, if I'm playing the Denver Broncos, the Dallas Cowboys, and Los Angeles Chargers, and you're playing, Van Meter, Madrid, and Pella Christian, like there's a little bit of a difference here.
I mean, not all
You know
of us
what I'm
can
saying?
play the almighty
No,
Iowa
but I'm
Hawkeyes
just
who
saying,
couldn't
like,
beat the
that's why-
Cyclones or USC who couldn't beat a backup quarterback at
No, but
TCU.
There were better
or-
teams that could push buttons on
Sure,
Oregon
sure.
than the ones that could push text buttons. I mean, you can literally just look at what happened and the numbers on the board. Like that, there's one or two teams that Tech played that was really going to push their buttons and push them to a place they needed to hit an extra gear.
Does Oregon
That's-
have
it's
more
not
buttons to
staying.
push though, with the style of play? Like Texas,
I mean, you could
Tech's a
argue
pretty
it.
polished
Maybe
team.
BYU's that. I don't know. I kind of
BYU might have
agree.
been that, and Tech might have been
Like,
good enough to just
dismantle them,
yes,
and then they
it
go
might
out
have been
to
good enough to
tomorrow
just
and
erase it.
do it. I agree, but I get what you're saying. I just kind of giggled when I heard that. But my last point would be, and I don't mean to cut everybody, but it kind of goes into what this is talking about. Is I
All
think
these games
that
were
this
3 points, by the way.
this
Take
Tech
their
team, this Tech team is getting the recognition as like it's a real football team, like it's a real top 6 football team. They've got the bodies to do it. I think they can go out there and win this week. But I still think it's getting a little bit of Big 12 stigma in the fact that nobody's talking about this Texas Tech team being a legit team that could win 3 straight games and win a national title. I have not heard that conversation.
No.
Not to say it's right or wrong.
No, I don't. Think so either.
I honestly don't know. I think we're going to find out. We're going to find out a ton tomorrow if this team can win 2 more games or not.
Jake,
but
Parks, Reese, do any of you have a Texas Tech future?
Nope.
no,
No,
I have
you
a
like
I
their
have an
future.
Ohio State future actually.
Okay. Does JT by chance, our other Iowa State representative, he likes his future Reds?
God, does he? I don't know if he does or not.
So I have Tech and Georgia as my futures. I thought the
I
bang
think
for the
Tech-
buck they were worth it.
What about
likely.
Miami?
So I had, this is right after they announced the college football playoff bracket, and I got Georgia at plus 750, which is like 400
That's
points
good.
higher than you can get it now, and then Tech at plus 950, and I think they're like 700 now. So
It's good. Good bet.
to me, that's why I took them as like their best value, and I don't feel like I'm stretching money here. I feel like this is worth the play, if that makes sense. For value, if the Tech wins this game, you
I
kind
will
of
say
like
that
You're not going to immediately see it. Like if Tech goes out and wins this game, look who they draw next. It's either Indiana or Alabama. So you're drawing the Big Ten champ or Alabama. Like people are still going to have oh yeah, but it's the Big 12. I mean, Alabama, look who they've played. Indiana, look who they've played. It's going to be the exact same story as what Oregon's got right now. So I don't know if they're going to run into the buzzsaw or even have the respect that they deserve until the national title game, and they've got to beat this program in Oregon and then either Alabama or Indiana, because teams are still going to keep it like, yeah, but Oregon almost lost to Iowa. There's
true.
all these narratives out for the casuals.
that plays into my second question. Was like, even if Tech wins, what's the perception? And I think you nailed it.
Yeah, I think it's still going to be a long road to gain the country's respect from the Big 12, no matter if you're Texas Tech or not. Reese?
So no, I mean, you guys hit on the head, but I was going to go off of Shaver's point. He's like, oh, what about a Miami future? I don't think I'd trust Carson Beck in 2 more playoff games to not slip and fall and crumble. That defense can do it, but at some point, that guy's going to have to throw the football more. And if he's going against an Ohio State defense or a Texas Tech defense or whoever he's got to go against, I'm going to take that defense all day.
Yeah, defense. And this was the game, if I remember right, making these assets and the graphics for the show today. This was the only game where both teams ranked in the top 10 of every category, every main category that we put on the screen. So it's a close matchup. I think the line reflects that, obviously. But Texas Tech and Oregon is the game of the weekend. This should have been the night game, in my opinion. I think there's everything on the table for both of these teams.
This one feels like a New Year's Eve Miami game. Like this one should be tonight.
Wasn't the perception that the Orange Bowl is always supposed to be the night game? Like, isn't that what the Orange Bowl wants? Is to be like a night kick
in Miami? Yeah, it's supposed to be.
If they return it to the FedEx Orange Bowl, they can request and make things happen as whatever they want. This logo sucks. Capital One sucks, but that's my
Capital One Bowl Mania. We love bowl games. Come on, Barks.
No, it's Coca-Cola Bowl season now.
Yeah,
Capital One Bowl Mania is a sponsor on the ESPN only.
No sponsors.
Yeah, come on, man.
ESPN owns like 95% of the bowl games, I think.
They do. And they own the entire college football playoff. And I'm not sure if you guys
Fox the Holiday Bowl and the Sun Bowl tonight, CBS.
I know, but quick story. Did you? I don't know if you guys heard it.
Snoop Dogg Bowl.
No free ads, but Busting with the Boys. I don't know if you saw Taylor Wan, Will Compton. That ESPN is like being overly hardo about any coverage. Like even if you're credentialed media on the sideline, like taking videos on any sort of camera, you can't even do it. Like they're screaming.
Sickos committee, I think, tweeted that out too because they were at like the Pop-Tarts Bowl for that last play, and they said they couldn't even record the game. They had to have their phone and just play sound because you're not allowed to clip things necessarily.
Yeah, really.
So like beat reporters can't even do their normal thing for whatever reason. Oh, I know why. Because they don't want to push bowl games. They want to push their 4 little playoff games. That's all they care about. That's all they care about.
It's getting to be those pro sports, gentlemen. Next up is college football blackouts, and when that happens, I'll be barstool in the NCAA's offices getting arrested level. When we get the college football blackouts, that's when we'll really start to have problems in my life.
That's a possibility.
It is.
I never thought about that.
It is.
Out of my brain, I'm trying to enjoy
college football.
Yeah, geez, Parks, come on, we're celebrating today.
These bastards, they're trying to do it. But the numbers came in. They were good for all the college football playoff games. But, of course, drastic drop-off in the back half of those G5
What was
games.
the Hawaii Bowl numbers? Not that TV rating.
Probably was the most watched game of the year. Yeah.
Probably 100 million.
Yep.
Best game ever. It was legendary.
Absolute classic.
But, all right, let's go into the next game and let's talk some conversations and narratives. And that next game up is I shouldn't say defending. Is it defending current Big Ten champions, I guess? And Alabama. Alabama, 3-loss team in the college football playoff that goes and wins in round 1. Now they get to see the number 1 team and number 1 overall seed in the college football playoff in Indiana. This matchup in the Rose Bowl, sunset on deck, and a good game to see with the Heisman Trophy winning Fernando Mendoza. Gentlemen, what's the talk? What's the storyline? What's the narrative? Jake.
As I got first take going on in the background here, it's kind of a first take headline. There's a loss. There's a loss here for Alabama. Does it still be considered a successful season to Tide fans?
Probably not.
No. To Tide fans, no. To everybody else, probably yes.
Okay, so just throw it in the whole spectrum of college football. Like Alabama fans and college football fans in general. Is it still a good, successful year 2 for Kalen DeBoer?
Yeah, if you want to sign me up for a conference title appearance and a playoff win every year, I'd go ahead and sign that dotted line. I think most would.
That's the privilege, right? Like this is a fan base last year that was legitimately women on the news asking to win the lottery to pay DeBoer's buyout. Now he's in the college football playoff again. He won a game. They beat Georgia again, obviously not in the title, but I would say it's not an unsuccessful season, but their fan base is insane. Like they could 4 losses next to your name at Alabama. That feels like an Ohio State loss to Michigan in my mind. Pretty hand in hand there, no?
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, you have the SEC title loss, you have the Oklahoma loss at home. Now you avenged that with the win in Norman a couple of weeks ago. Part of me is just, I don't have a ton of feel. Actually, I do. I will on Monday because I do listen to Mac and Cube in Birmingham pretty regularly, so I'll get the feel of what they're actually thinking. But it seems to me like they're still kind of in the mindset of the 4-team playoff, in that they want to win this game in order to be at least a semifinalist in college football, because a loss
That's fair.
tonight or tomorrow still puts you outside of the top 5 in college football as far as rankings go.
Right.
And especially if you lose to a team like Indiana. I mean, there are a lot of Alabama fans, guys. Let's be honest. They only watch the SEC. They only watch the Crimson Tide. And they're looking at this like, come on, Indiana, Alabama don't lose to Indiana. We don't lose to Indiana. So I think a loss tonight or
touchdown underdog.
As a touchdown underdog, I think
And it hasn't moved.
Even a loss still would. I don't think it's going to debunk some of the Kalen DeBoer can't win big game things. I also heard Mac was on his show talking about, and he doesn't necessarily believe that Alabama is the better team, but he's like, we got to treat this like when we played Florida in 2008 and they had Tebow and they were coming off the national title, and they were, I think he said they were double-digit underdogs, and they went out there and won by double digits. He's like, we got to treat them like all gas, no brakes. We're the better team. We are Alabama, and see what happens. We'll see if Alabama has that mindset and can put it to fruition against Indiana.
I mean, there is a world in which you've
Fruition.
got a group. I mean, this is a completely different team. This isn't a Saban-led Alabama team, I
Yeah,
guess. But like,
it is.
the brand has been there, and one brand hasn't
Yeah.
been there. Like, that's kind of a real thing, I guess.
Reese, thoughts?
No, I think the big thing here is it's just the brand. Like, that's what everybody's going to look at for this one. Is if Indiana wins this one, it's, oh my gosh, it's Indiana football beating Alabama. And then if Alabama loses, like this is probably Alabama's first 4-loss back-to-back season since early 2000s. So it's like there's also that stick around too that are going to want people to get rid of DeBoer, but the guy's still a good coach. Knows how to win football games. It's just, and also like we just forget like that Florida State was the first week of the year, but if that would have happened like week 10 or week 11, like everybody would be thinking differently about this football team. Like that Florida State was a bad football team that they lost to week 1. And yeah, you were on the road and Ty Simpson struggled, but he progressed as the year went on. But I think that's kind of the thing that stick around too. If Alabama loses this football game, like you had 2 or 3 kind of bad losses. Yeah, you had I think your Georgia win is more impressive than your Oklahoma win on the road. Like you had your one solid win. Like, yeah, if you're a Crimson Tide fan, like that's what's going to stick with you is sure, we won one big one, but we lost like 3 big ones.
Question for everybody. What's the better Alabama team? This Rose Bowl team or the last Rose Bowl team?
The last
Saban's
team with
Last team. Even with Milrow.
I didn't even think they were very good.
Well, I mean, they almost beat Michigan, who ended up winning the national title.
Yeah, I was going to say they were
Bad snap by McLaughlin there.
They were also
just a misread by
fourth
Milrow
and forever away
play.
from losing to Auburn, and then there's multiple times they were on the hook that year.
No miracle.
My point
Michigan
is,
literally knew it was coming. I guess we should preface this, right?
For me, I think I saw there's a clip off an Alabama like radio show, and they were like, he's like, I don't understand the perception that Indiana's just going to, steamroll.
It's because he doesn't watch Indiana. Because
I was going to say, have you seen their defensive line?
He goes through the list and he goes, "Can you tell me where they were challenged this entire time?" They went to Iowa and they didn't play well. They went to Oregon. They barely beat Oregon. If you look at that, it wasn't even double digits. They didn't kick a field goal till it. And he's like trying to come up with all these things. I go, so now winning at Oregon's not a big deal. You're not allowed to have close games because you have to only blow people out. That's the only thing.
Yeah. And how about the just disregard of the Illinois team that we just watched beat Tennessee last night, by the way?
Yeah. You know, like,
they also were bringing up the what's one I missed? Oh, the Penn State one. They're like, that was a bad Penn State team. I go, okay, I get it. Like they didn't win a lot, but like
they weren't bad. Not
they beat the doors off Clemson. It's funny just thinking about this stuff is that this is why college football is great, is because like college football fans live in different spectrums. They live in different parts of the world where they don't even like think about 75% of the other teams in the sport. Whereas like NFL, it's all 32 teams. You're probably watching all these games on Sunday because maybe you got fantasy teams and stuff like that. Like an Alabama fan probably hasn't watched Indiana. There's probably many Alabama fans that haven't watched Indiana one lick this year and have zero idea because all they watch is the SEC. I just kind of
it
makes me laugh.
Yeah, no, that's definitely. I think the part that pisses me off the most in defense of Indiana is the disregard for, you want to talk about Fernando Mendoza and their offense and what they can do, and Surratt and the outside. How about the defense, gents? Like, this is
So
the
scary.
third best defense in college football. Aiden Fisher, probably top 2, if not 2 linebackers in college football behind Jacob Rodriguez. Like, this defense is legit.
Marvell
Up
Reed.
front, on the outside,
Indiana's-
D'Angelo Bonds, one of the best cornerbacks
Yes,
in college
Browns.
football. Like,
Here's a
Alabama,
stat.
we've seen them struggle to score.
Yeah,
This Indiana
Indiana's
team is going to make it hard.
third in rush defense. Alabama is 118th in rush offense.
Yeah.
Do you think? Do you guys
Fling it,
think?
Ty.
Do you think the Indiana run game gets enough love?
No,
We'll
I don't
find
think
out.
anything about
I
Indiana.
can't say that their offensive line's like world beaters, but they've been plenty good. And they have 2 running backs that really run with their hair on fire. It's downhill. They don't go down backwards, right? It's falling forward consistently.
It's a good
And
score.
Mendoza is willing to get hit in the face consistently to deliver a football. Like, he did it
He
all
does.
year. And so if I think the big point here is, if you're Alabama, you need to be up early, or you need to be within 3 the entire first half. This can't be another Oklahoma situation. There can't be turnovers. You can't start slow and be down 10 early, because unlike that Oklahoma team, this Indiana team will put it on you, will not slow up, and will continue to hit the gas.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jake.
What do you get?
No,
going, Jake?
I told you guys I got first take on in the background, and clickbait page just popped up. Makes me smile.
What do you say?
Clickbait Pete.
I don't know. They're asking him what his favorite college football quarterfinal game is. It's got to be Alabama. It's got to be. Hey, they haven't
No, it's
showed the
Georgia, Ole
highlights
Miss.
yet. I can't read his lips.
It's
Yeah,
Georgia,
Georgia,
Ole
Ole Miss, or Alabama. Oh, it's Miami, Ohio State. I was wrong.
People, God, the disrespect to that Oregon Texas Tech.
Yeah,
game.
Oregon, Texas Tech. It's just such a
Yeah.
Anyways, let's not get
One more thing on
Sidetrack.
Indiana. Like,
Go ahead, Jake.
you guys were just talking about the national perception and people just not watching them and just hearing about, you get the Sunday headlines, right, instead of watching the Saturday games. I was at a wedding a couple weeks ago, and it's Big Ten title weekend, and everybody's like around, phone, and they're kind of talking. They're like, Ohio State, man, they're so good. Up until kick, Ohio State's got the lead. Indiana takes the lead, and they're all like, man, Ohio State might suck. And I go, why isn't Indiana good? Like, why do you guys not think Indiana's going to get to go? The only answer I got was like,
that's like the
they're
most Drew Kasserauer answer ever. Like,
It's like,
let's lays the
Indiana.
points with Ohio State, Texas later. God, Ohio
Yeah.
State sucks.
I'm like, dude, like, it tells me you didn't do any research. You haven't paid attention at all. You're just not watching the games. You're just playing off brands. And I'm like, that's a
3
piece of-
yard.
That's
for
good
us.
stuff right there.
I
That's
remember
good
that Indiana Illinois game, right, was their first big time matchup of 25, and they blocked the punt within the first 3 minutes. I remember looking over at the guy I was with at a bar, and I just said, "Is this Indiana team going to win the national title this year? Like, this is ridiculous how good they are. It's a possibility that this team can do that. Like, it's the number 1 overall seed. It's not breaking any barriers. I understand that, but fellas, it's if you haven't
Indiana's
watched them,
number
which
one.
people in the country they haven't. It's a team completely capable of doing so. They run the RPO better than probably a majority of college football teams. It's like 80% of their play calls. So watch it. That's why they run downhill majority of the time. But all right, let's leave that Alabama-Indiana game there. That's the Rose Bowl. Make sure you drop a score prediction in the comments. Appreciate all the comments coming through the chat. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this video, but make sure you drop your score prediction for a chance to win a free No Rivals cap. If you hit this one on the nose,
We
will
know
go
if
back
you're
to
not
practice.
subscribed. We can
Yeah.
tell.
We can. We
Coming
can
for
smell it. But subscribe, like, drop the comment on the score prediction of each of these games. Let's go to the last one. Let's head to the Sugar Bowl. This one is in New Orleans, my least favorite place in America, on January 1st. Sorry, I got to plug it every time I say it. Let's talk about this matchup. Ole Miss, Georgia in the rematch. Georgia takes the first matchup 43-35. I almost said Lane Kiffin and company. Lane Kiffin's old team gets a chance to redeem themselves against the Dogs. They are an underdog. Let's talk about this matchup. What are the storylines, Jake? Give us your question.
Yeah, this is what just basically what can Ole Miss take away from the first loss on and how they can improve on and beat Georgia this time, because I know that this one's not the largest. It's not the largest point spread between any of these quarter final games, but it's being treated like Ole Miss is a 15-point underdog. Am I wrong in saying that? Like, it feels like the narrative
the
is
least
like
talked about game.
the least talked about, the least recognized. And
I think it's the most boring game. I'll throw it
As-
out there. I'll be that asshole. I think it's an awesome game, two big brands, but like it's just another SEC matchup that we've seen, right?
Yeah.
I think some of the rematches are kind of fun. Now, I don't know if this one
We
really
are, but we're sickos. I'm saying it is. Like if you look, you're like, oh, Georgia plays Ole Miss. That ain't no Texas Tech and Oregon. That ain't new faces in the mix.
I am concerned as I'm wearing my Georgia shirt right now. People are like, "Oh, Georgia fan, Jake," but Ole Miss had to play damn near a perfect half in Athens in a couple months ago and still couldn't find a way to get it done. Like I don't know how they replicate that and give themselves a chance tomorrow night. It's going to be tough. The defense has got to find a way to get a stop. They ended the game with, I think, 3 straight 3-and-outs. You can't do that offensively. You can't sputter, and you also got to find a way to run the football. You have to. So I don't know. We'll see how much this team has improved, or maybe this Georgia team is the sneaky underdog that's a national title contender.
I am of the belief that Ole Miss is going to continue to score points. I am
You think?
struggling to find the belief that they now aren't going to allow 7 straight touchdowns or 7
got
straight
the-
scores like they did.
Green light on Quan Lacey, correct?
Yeah, he's playing.
Yeah.
That's
I
massive.
think they're still going to run the football. I still think they're going to score points, like maybe a little tougher, but you got to find a way to get a stop. It can't be the same situation. That's how they lost that game, Jake. They just could not stop a soul. And
But also, if you could stay on the field too, like the possessions where they went 3-and-out, like that's hard on your defense to turn around and get a stop too.
Yes, the 3-and-out is, but they were also scoring in a flash, and I don't think you would trade the score in a flash to elongated drive necessarily. And Ole Miss has never struck me as a team, especially under the current regime and probably future regimes, that's going to slow things down just because they feel like it's better for their matchup. They're going to play their ball, they're going to play their style and their brand, and whether that is their, to their detriment or to their own benefit, it kind of doesn't matter to them. This is what they're going to do. Do you think that we didn't see, I felt like a lot of the year, a lot of Gunnar Stockton on the ground, and I felt like as Georgia started to get a little more hot,
down
and
King
playing better
Gunnar
football,
Stockton.
they started to run them a little bit more. Like, how much of that do we get in this spot, or they just turn back and back to the line of scrimmage, hand the football off 20 times, and then take the top off when it's wide open?
It's a mixture, I think. I think Kirby Smart, what he wants to do and what he does incredibly well at Georgia is get his outside athletes in open space. And so I made the joke, Gunnar Stockton checkdown master. If it's not there, I think they just gave him the green light to use his legs more because that's where he's at his best. Like, he's never going to be the deep ball thrower that they've had in the past. Like, him kind of playing the role as, yes, I'm going to plug him because I think he was underrated, as a Stetson Bennett is perfect recipe for Georgia. He doesn't have to be the guy that takes over the game. Like, he just has to make the throws that he's able to make and that are open. He doesn't have to fit in tight windows and things like that. They have the athletes. Zachariah Branch on the outside's been picking it up. I think they're just going to get guys in open space. So it's going to be a lot of dump off screen games. They're going to run the football because they're right. We already seen this Ole Miss defense. They couldn't stop it the first time. Why would it be much different? I don't think they have to throw the ball downfield. And he can use his legs just in the back half of things. Jake.
He was 10 rushes for 59 and a touchdown in their first matchup, and 26 of 31 for 289 and 4 touchdowns through the air.
God, that is a
It's hefty
video game stat line. Yeah, got to get a stop there. Reese, any thoughts on Gunnar Stockton within Georgia's offense in this game?
No, you mentioned it, but it's Georgia. Like, they ran the ball for over 200 yards against almost the first time too, and like a lot of that is Gunner's legs when he needs to improvise. But it's also like they just have a solid run game going too. But it's can Ole Miss do the 5 straight touchdown drives again? Probably not. But the issue too is you just got to like execute in the fourth quarter. Like, you were up double digits and then you give up 17 unanswered. Like, that's just, I think Golding said it in his presser. It's like they just broke down on critical third downs offensively and defensively. So it's like, if you can just find a way to get Georgia off the field or keep your offense on the field in that game, like you go and get a huge win in Athens, but they just couldn't execute. And like, you still have your, you still got Wise, but now your Golding's your head coach here. Like, how does your game plan kind of change here? Because you don't have Lane. Did he have something different to go after this team, or what can these guys schematically figure out? Because you're also still going up against Kirby Smart, who is one of the top 3, top 2 coaches in college football right now. So let's see because don't doubt those guys because they're gonna have their stuff figured out too.
If I gave you the same game that happened in Athens in October, right? That was in October.
Yep.
And I just said there's one turnover. Georgia is now -1. Ole Miss is +1 turnover wise. Is that enough to flip it, or do we need multiple flips of like blocked punt, interception, fumble type stuff? Or does the same recipe help just small tweaks? That's what I'm curious.
Here's another question I had. Are we sure the Georgia offense is as good as it was the first time these two teams met?
I mean,
that's
I
something
feel like it's gotten better.
You think it's gotten better? I feel like it's gotten a little worse. It's gotten a little stagnant.
I don't know.
I
think
just
if
feel like
Georgia
they
got
played-
game, take out.
I think they played
they
to the
just- they
matches.
Yeah, they played pretty solid against Bama too, though. I feel like
I thought the defense was really good against Texas and Bama. I thought the offense was a little sloppy on both of those games. And not to say like maybe it's the defense that kind of carries them the rest of the way. That wouldn't shock anybody. That's what Georgia's used to doing, right? But I don't know. Maybe this game just looks a lot different than it does as the original shootout.
You guys want a storyline?
Love to hear one.
hit me.
Give it to me.
If the perception and the argument from Georgia fans and other SEC fans was that Georgia played tight with Tech, and the Alabama game was what it was, we all watched what happened. Alabama couldn't move the ball. If Georgia was so vanilla and so bland in both those games, and then now has this rest time, and then has to turn it back on, can they?
So
If
that's
that's the argument. They were that vanilla, and they were just trying to get through the motions. Are they able to flick it back on? I don't know.
I mean, it goes back to the Charlotte game when they only won
Like
35-0. Like the offense hasn't necessarily been there.
Seems like a tough switch to flip. I don't know if you guys see it the same way.
I think it's a great point, especially with two
Oregon,
and a half
Ohio
weeks
State.
off.
Oregon, Ohio State being the blueprint there. I mean, that Oregon offense was pretty unstoppable consistently. And even they went stagnant over this long break. Somebody already said it in the comments earlier today on the show. It was, the 10 days in between these games is insane, dude. It's been like 20 days for these teams
Georgia,
that got
yeah.
by. Yeah. It's been wild.
That's the thing too. What if Ole Miss comes out, scores the first 2 or 3 drives and Georgia's slow to get started? It's a lot to come back from.
What
happened the last time they did that?
Betting Georgia live.
For some reason, I had the gut twist in my gut of like it could be an Ole Miss situation where if they were to do that at a neutral site, it could be like the Oklahoma-Alabama game where it's 17-0, and then just a switch flips and it's Kirby Smart does Kirby Smart, and all of a sudden here comes Georgia and they win by 10. But it's entirely. I'm intrigued to see it. We've obviously talked about Alabama struggles on the ground throughout the year, but like negative rushing yards in the SEC title game, Quan Lacey and Chambliss, like they have their hands full to get things going on the ground again. It's hard to beat a team twice. So I think the narrative's out there, right? You've got the recipe.
How many times has Georgia done it?
Well, they usually lose to Alabama in the first game, so not much.
Uh-huh.
So
that's what I was kind of wondering. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That tracks.
But all right, that's Ole Miss and Georgia. Any other questions, any other comments on that game? Make sure you drop the score prediction if you haven't in the comments. We got a lot of people in the YouTube chat. Make sure you like, subscribe. Let us know what you think of the score of this game will be. If you hit it on the nose, we'll send you a free No Rivals cap. Ole Miss, if you're a fan
Georgia's
and you're
got some
watching the
great
show,
ones.
we've got you on No Rivals. And Georgia, if you're a fan and you're watching the show, drop your score prediction because we'll get you a free No Rivals cap, the best hats in college sports. Reese and I got them on today. But all right, that's the college football playoff quarterfinal. That's the conversation and news around that and topics we wanted to cover. Let's talk bowl games, gentlemen. Nobody leave the show. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. This is where you get your bowl game coverage and hype. Gents,
you'd be winning a lot of money.
You'd be winning a crap load of money. The boys have been giving out picks on Twitter, and we've been doing our ATS boards. As long as you're fading Parks or picking with JP and Jake, then you're in great shape financially for the after holiday spending. But bowl season overall, gents, so you're hearing a lot of people, USC fans last night. We don't care. It's for fun. We don't care if we win the games. Then you have guys like Luke Altmaier who are putting their heart and soul on the line and talking crap across conferences. Bowl season's been this narrative over the last couple of years with all the opt-outs, with the changes, the bids, or people missing the college football playoff. Does it matter? Why does it matter? And of course, on this show, we know it matters. But tell the folks why and why bowl season, which has been great, one of the best we've had in a long time, why they should be watching. And honestly, what makes it great, Jake?
Well, for a couple of reasons. It's getting a bad bowl games have done themselves in so bad the last couple of years that this year just continues to get the stigma and it still has the stink on it. And we said this before bowl season started, guys. There won't be a ton of opt-outs because the portal doesn't open until tomorrow. So, like last night, that TCU game, yeah, they're the biggest names kind of opted out, and you'll see those NFL draft guys probably continue to not play in these bowl games. But as far as like transfers and stuff are concerned, we saw Drew Mestemaker play. We saw a lot of these guys step up and play these bowl games. And I think we're going to continue to see that for years on end to go forward because of the new transfer portal rules. So it's just going to take some time, I think, to reset people's mindset as far as this. But if you're a college football fan and you've really been paying attention to these games this year, you've been just absolutely pleased with what you've seen as far as competitiveness, the will to win. Like, guys, newsflash, when these kids put their helmets on and they take the field, they want to win the football game. And you can see that is starting to come back a little bit with this bowl game stuff too. And that's why I think it's been really awesome. I've said this before, guys. There are people that call bowl games exhibitions. They're not exhibitions, they're consolations. Okay. You're playing a consolation is like, you know, you go through a regular season and maybe you're playing for third place in the postseason. You're not playing for a championship. An exhibition is a preseason game that doesn't count. This is a consolation. This is a chance to play some new guys who might have a chance to have big opportunities next year. This is a chance to lead your seniors out on the right foot. This is a chance to maybe beat a higher opponent that gets you your preseason ranking into next year, which is a big deal. Iowa State's example last year was huge. Like, them beating Miami had them preseason ranked higher, I believe, heading into this year. And we all know the preseason rankings, for right or wrong, it's a big deal to be in that top 25 for what people perceive you as going forward the rest of the year. So these bowl games do matter. In Iowa, playing Vanderbilt today is huge to go into 26 if they can get that victory. So there's a lot of things in these bowl games that still matter. And as a fan whose team is dismantled and decided to not to play, as far as the fan side of things, it sucks, man. Like, to see your team opt out and you can't watch them play one more game when they had the opportunity to really sucks. I think it's a ton of fun to see them play a non-con opponent, because another thing, the non-conference schedule sucks now. It sucks. It's going to continue to get worse in the regular season of college football. So to basically see your team play a non-conference opponent at the end of the year against somebody who's, for the most part, quote unquote, like to your equal, right? Like, they try to give the best matchups available, to see where your team stacks up at the end of the year to play that non-conference opponent, just for right or wrong, can basically solidify, was this a good year or not? I think that's it. It has, there's so many things that take into a factor of why I think these bowl games still matter.
I think that there's a program element to them, right? And if you want to have the conversation about like, oh, well, there's the power conferences and then there's everybody else. If that's the world and you want to die on, then you don't love college football. You like the big brands, you like the big conferences, because yes, there's a lot of coaching changes, especially this year, right, across all levels of college football. But there is a multitude of programs out there that went out and played bowl games and played really hard, were basically full to the teeth with their teams, and it mattered to them. You could see the buildup, not just from the team itself, but social accounts, the fan bases interacting on social media. Like, there's a real buildup to all of that. And if you want to say that you're a college football fan, then you need to take this for what it is. And then trying to fix bowl season, yeah, there's some tweaks that need to be made, but like this whole idea of switching it and moving it to week 1 or week 0 the next year, to me, doesn't fix anything.
Just a joke.
Because you're already complaining about, you're already seeing ADs, coaches, talking heads, and other people complaining that they've played tough games earlier in the year and they're getting penalized for it. Yes, because you lost the game, and now you want to go put them against a team who's, a season ago, that may change, right? We've seen that multiple times where you've seen, could you imagine if that Florida State team that went 14-0 was then put into a high-level game against Georgia the next year, just based on
people trying to put the bowl games in week 0 or week 1? It's the dumbest take I've ever heard. It's worse than like people trying to say that 32-team playoff. I think it's that stupid.
It's just,
it's different teams.
It had some merit and it makes sense, but then you don't want games off campus. Okay, well, that's just not going to happen, right? These are all going to be neutral sites. That's just how it works. And then you're going to add into that this perception, now you're going to have to convince ADs, coaches, and all these other people to take this game for what it is. And then you want it held against you, or you don't want it held against you. Which one is it? You can't have it both ways. So to me, it's set up good now. It works fine. The portal fixed a lot. Now, big name quarterbacks that are going to the draft and go into the portal probably won't continue to play as much because that number value is so high on their head as a healthy quarterback. But you're going to get a lot of the running backs. You're going to get a lot of the defensive prospects. Like, there are plenty of pieces to make these teams. We have not seen a team that's a legit shell of itself yet. We've seen teams with a couple big opt-outs, but they've all looked like themselves. You're not seeing a completely different team like we were.
Like, you guys remember Washington State versus Syracuse last year? Like, that was the epitome of why
we do
get made fun of. That was the game right there. And we haven't gotten even remotely a game close to that. And we won't the rest of the until Friday.
And I think as players learn, there's a take and a give with the NFL draft. There's enough money rolling around college football now where if you're not a top 1 or 2 round guy, like, there is a conversation to be had of the money you will make in your next season at said college versus the NFL in your rookie contract. So I think we're going to see it evolve, and that's why we've seen less opt-outs and less people go. Like, there is no conversation, if you were to give him a second chance, that Nussmeier would probably have gone to the NFL draft last year, looking back on what LSU happened this year.
And what I'm definitely not doing is what – this isn't a shot at you, Jake, but Iowa State did and Notre Dame did, and paying fines.
That's
and like all this other stuff.
They should be penalized. It should be you're not bowl eligible.
I think that's so stupid. Like, I don't think that's really, if you want to build a program and you want to continue on this track, dude, if you want to make it to play your second, third stringers to get these guys a shit ton of reps, then do it. Nobody cares. But to run away and hide from it is just, I think it beats the point of the sport and what this whole idea of making better guys, better development, like, that's what it's all about.
You said it, JP. It's a program builder. I think bowl games are a really good barometer of where your program is at by, how does your coach perceive this game? Who's playing? Like, if I see a team in, I was trying to think of a team, honestly, a little bit like USC last night, where they kind of came out and just half-assed it. If I'm a fan of the school, how am I supposed to take you seriously next year that you're going to give it your all for 12 straight games? Like, where's the locker room at? It kind of seems to me, Lincoln Riley, that you kind of got a team that's kind of wishy-washy, and when things don't really matter, your guys aren't really going to show up and play. So I think it's a big barometer of like, okay, does my coach care about this? Does he have them ready to play? And that's a school in a program I want to get back on.
Where does it check out too? Like, you're 9-3 USC, and then you go into this bowl game thinking season's over, like, whatever, we're just going to roll through these. Like, you were 8-3. Mm-hmm. Were you checked out in that last game? What's the difference there? That's what I don't understand.
Let me ask you this, Parks. Like, today, I think today point spread's huge. I think today is a big barometer of where Nebraska's at. I know the bowl game won't, like, the scenario and the win is not going to mean much. And I know there's so many opt-outs.
Raiola, I would take it differently.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, where is this Nebraska program standing right now? Like, this is a huge, I don't think a win or loss isn't going to change the fact, but I think of where your team is sitting at before maybe the portal tomorrow and stuff could leapfrog into what we're going to see out of Nebraska next year. Like, do the guys in the locker room today want to play their ass off for Rule today? Or is it kind of like, let's just get this over with?
No, I don't think so at all. I think it's a big, and this is another point for why bowl games matter. It's almost a tryout. Like, if you're TJ Lateef and you're going into a season like Nebraska is supposed to have next year, you're basically, are you going to go into the portal and attack a $3 million quarterback to replace Raiola, or is TJ Lateef your guy? Like, I think for these younger guys, you can almost use it as a tryout and baseline of your NIL for the next year if you want to go off money based.
We know a guy who won a job in a bowl game. His name is Miller Moss. Now
and how about Drew Messmaker?
Yeah.
How about the story of Drew Messmaker being launched in a bowl game last year?
Also, like, Parks, I think you made a really good point. And just saying that, what did you say exactly right before Jake jumped in? I want to make sure
the
I get
USC
it right.
Game, the USC 8-3.
Yes, yeah. The idea that, like, teams that are sitting anywhere from 6-6 to
when do you check out
8-3? Yeah. How are you convincing them that the last game of the year matters? Because it's on the schedule or what? It could not be, though. Like, it's the same thing. Like, you're going to go play. It's handled the same way. there's a lot of hype around it. You're asking fans to travel. Your school spending money to go. You're getting paid to go. All this other stuff could not be more of a fun event in most cases. And then you're like, but it doesn't matter. Why doesn't it matter? Because you say it doesn't matter. Because you perceive it not to matter. Because you're not being told that it does. You're not being explained that it does. Because you have people in decision-making roles that decided, but that one doesn't matter because it's not this. Why does that game matter on November Black Friday and this one doesn't 2 weeks later in December? Like, what's the real reason? Because you don't have a real one other than it doesn't, because there's a playoff. This team wasn't in the playoff week 3 of the year. We knew they weren't getting it. So why doesn't it?
I guess another add-on point for the program side of things is like how big these games can be for your program going forward to show your depth. We've all outlined that. But how about just the brands in general? Like, how much does it mean for Georgia Southern to have an extra 2 weeks in a nationally televised game? Like, the exposure there for these G5 programs is much bigger than people realize. The money, the experiences for these G5 players to go to a bowl game, get a bucket load of gear. Like, that's not a norm. If you're not Ohio State, Nebraska, Iowa, like somebody in the Power 4, it's not a norm to get a bag full of gear, a free flight, all this stuff, and play on national TV every week. And I think that goes unnoticed in college football. And it's awesome when these teams get to play. I love when we see just for example, throwing two teams out there, Georgia Southern versus a BYU. Like, that game means so much because it's not week 1 or 3 where you're getting $3 million to go play in Provo and get beat by 30. Like, it's a neutral site. It's your young guys. Watch this depth versus depth and see what happens.
New Mexico, Minnesota?
What a game. It's a perfect example.
New Mexico was fully loaded.
Cal Hawaii.
Looked really good. Right? And then Minnesota comes in as a team who cares about bowl games. DJ Fleck's very vocal about it. He's really good at getting his team to understand that. And they played like it. And you watch two teams play high-level football to their best of their abilities. Both defenses are probably the strength of those teams. And they played like it. But nobody wants to talk about that, right? Cal Hawaii is another great one. Two young quarterbacks who are going to be the future of a sport, future of a conference in the next 2-3 years. Mm-hmm. Why it was talked about? Because it was a standalone New Year's Eve. And why also? Because those guys were a part of it, and because both programs wanted to be a part of it.
Also,
even with the Wilcox thing.
Yeah, bowl games need to be a couple less of them. Like, we could have done without.
Yeah,
Southern App on Monday was a disgrace.
We just
that's the beauty.
A lot of people in that one.
Yeah, and the let's put it this way, JP. You always say this, but the national media doesn't know justice because we're watching Georgia Southern play in their bowl game, and it gets to halftime, and we're going to go back and talk about how Tulane should have never been in the college football playoff. Like, that's the conversation around bowl season. It shouldn't be that, but it is. Like, they just want to highlight their big games or what's upcoming or what was wrong and not talk about the two teams that we're actively watching play and like highlighting what the bowl and what's going around it. That pisses me off too.
Yeah. I think the cows got out again.
Yeah. Reese, run. If that happened again, that would be insane.
The other part of that too is like, I think that we've found some really good announcers that do a really good job during the games. I think we've found some pieces that I really enjoy listening to. But I think they kind of get told on like what they can and can't say. And like, they have to plug this a certain amount of times. They have to say this a certain amount of times, which is tough, but it's part of it in some ways. But I feel like I think we're just on the right side of social media too. Like, we get a lot of responses as the game's going on, right? Like the Independence Bowl yesterday. Everybody's watching that like, woof, these two teams look brutal today. But everybody's talking about it. And that's just, we found ourselves on the right side of that. So maybe it's a little bit of, what is it? Your perceptions, your reality kind of thing. Reese, is that the right, right saying there?
Is that the right saying?
If people don't look for it and don't care to find it, they're not going to, and they're going to stay on the same track of, this is stupid. There's no point in these games, blah, blah, blah. You're right.
Reese, let's ask you, what do you find or what do you like, dislike? Obviously, you
probably have a different view on it.
Propaganda from us talking about bowl games all the time. But as a guy who, I shouldn't say recently got into college football, it's been years now, but is really embracing the sport fully now. What do you think about bowl season? What do you think's wrong with it if there is?
I think the one thing that JP always talks about, it's a great point, is when you're watching the Independence Bowl or the Music City Bowl or the Pinstripe Bowl, when you get to halftime, they're talking about the playoff games. You're not talking about, oh, what did Clubbing just do for this first half, or what did this guy
100%.
do for this? Like, it is, oh, let's push the big because, it's the moneymaker. We're going to talk about this, but they don't talk about the actual games. Or, hey, this kid, like if you're a fan of that program, you know, hey, we're playing our second string running back or our second string wide right now, or our second string right guard. Like, if you could dive into that and you're in the halftime show, like, you're bringing more attention to that guy, to that team. Like, hey, they had guys jump in the portal. This guy's going here. This guy's going there. Like, you're just bringing more awareness to that team. But, like, all we've been hearing for how many weeks is Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, like, all these guys, like, yes, cool, it's driving the money. But, like, if you care about the sport, you want to hear more about what did New Mexico do this year? Like, what is their what is Eck all about? Like, he has a son who's a stud. Like, what's going on in the ACC this year? Like, Duke's going to go play in the Mayo Bowl, and they just won the ACC championship. How's the MAC doing? And it's also like records for conferences when it comes to the bowl season too. Like, everybody argues they don't matter, but I mean, the Big Ten is 6-1 now. Like, they're looking very solid. ACC's been iffy, but like Mountain West, Sunbelt aren't doing that great. But I could also just kind of dive into like, how are these teams and these conferences doing later in the season? Because everybody talks about like when it's college basketball, it's
I
Big
love
Ten.
that.
They also don't
ACC,
do
it's like, how are we doing that?
They don't do pregame shows either, not even if it's a half hour. Like,
Yeah,
for
no,
instance, I'm
true.
watching First Take right now. They're going to throw it straight to the Iowa game. There's no build-up. There's no storyline, and they'll do the same thing. We're going to get to halftime, and we're going to talk about Ohio State, Miami tonight. So there's
Oh
no
my God, yeah. We could
storyline
get
or
an
anything.
absolute slugfest here at 11 a.m. with Pavia popping off and the Iowa offense playing really well. Like,
They talk about it as soon as they
and
cut to it for the
like-
first minute, but then the first commercial break,
yeah.
they come back and talk about something else.
they'll
Just
be like,
quickly
"Hey,
to wrap this up, though,
Go
we got
ahead.
to go back to Reese's point, and I love this point. The records, the head-to-head records in bowl games, and you heard Altmaier come out last night and take a shot at the SEC and talk about the Big Ten, but also for these G5 and smaller programs, like look at the American record last year. 6-2 in bowl games, 7-2 in bowl games. That should be a baseline for college football fans. That it's easy to go out and say, hey, Tulane's 11-1. Well, they're in the American. Like, who do they play? Well, when they go and play Illinois, who maybe went 5-3 in the Big Ten, like, use this as a baseline and say, hey, man, this American football team, like the teams at the top are in the middle of these Power Four conferences and majority of spots. Use it as your baseline. Let you see how the G5 can operate and play to the level of the middle of the pack of these conferences, which are sometimes getting in dogfights with the top brands in college football. There is more of a level playing field than people realize, and bowl season will expose that. It's just not, Akron going to play Northwestern and things like that. Like, those teams that suck.
Can you pull up Queso's comment again?
I got
And
it.
give it a read here.
That's a good one.
I just have some comments on it.
Queso Stream comes in, says, I don't think we need less bowl games. I think we need less bowl games on ESPN networks. ESPN and Disney are literally hogs on everything.
So I just want to touch on the first couple sentences of that.
What about the CW?
I think that there is a world in where you could see less bowl games and it would not hurt the game, right? I think we're at like 44-ish now. 10 years ago, it was like 35.
It was
somewhere
like
in there.
35.
Yeah.
Well, I got it.
If you want, this is another way to like kind of fix this perception and whatnot. If you want it to really mean something more, and you can't make more of it, right? You're going to kill the value of it a little bit. If you shrink that bubble and you say, we're already dealing with some teams just choosing not to play. We're getting 5 and 7 teams in, because 5 and 7 teams should be playing a bowl game. Like, that's just the reality of it. I respect any team that jumps in. Minnesota's done it. App did it this year.
Nebraska did it.
They shouldn't be in it. It shouldn't do it. It's stupid. It's not
It is
fair
stupid.
to the idea, right? Shrink it down a little bit. Take the teams that want to be there and the teams that have earned the right to be there. You run through all the 7 and 5s. 7 and 5's done. Now you go into the 6 and 6 list and you base it on whatever you want to base it on. Because in that situation, you are now valuing it more. You need to do better to earn this spot.
It's a
You need to
privilege.
yes, it is. And it still is, whether you have more or less. But I think if you shrink it a little bit, it makes sense. Now, necessarily, I don't want less bowl games because I enjoy the hell out of all of them. But I think there's a real argument to say, go back to that 35 number and we cut some of these other ones that, where teams don't really, the bowl games that traditionally have the last pick of the litter, if that makes sense.
All right, let's leave bowl game talk there. Let's go into picking the bowl games from today through the 2nd of January. Appreciate you being in the chat. Make sure you hit the like button on this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more college football content. This is college football heaven. After all, we appreciate all your comments rolling through. Let's go to the bowl game
winners, by the way.
outright winners, not against the spread. We are picking who is going to win these games. Let's start with today. Let's start with here in 10 minutes. Kicks off Iowa and Vanderbilt. Down the line, Jake to Reese for every game. Jake.
No Stowers, but I'm still picking Vandy to score some points here. I think they find a way.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see Iowa's offense and Mark Gronowski and what they do. I think Iowa has a recipe here to run the football and slow the game down more than Vanderbilt's even seen through the SEC season. But I think Vandy, with the number where it is, I think Vandy gets the win overall.
Yeah, and pretty hard to stop that Vandy run game. They'll probably get theirs just like other teams have throughout the year on Iowa. Really good run teams. But I'm taking the Hawks. There's no other way to go here.
Reese.
Yeah, I'm going to lean with JP. I think they can muck it up, and we've seen Pivy turn the ball over from time to time, so I'll take Iowa in that defense.
Arizona State and Duke in the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. ACC champion Duke. Duke, who you got, Jake?
Jeff Sims on top one more time.
Legacy game.
Legacy
game.
I put me on Jeff Sims for that exact reason. Echoed.
Yeah, I'm on Arizona State.
Ooh.
Fine, I'll take ACC champ. I'll take Duke.
All right. Damn it, Reese. No, it's okay. We can all lose. We lose as a team.
Yeah.
Next game up, Nebraska, Utah on the SRS distribution, Las Vegas Bowl. This one's at 2:30. Utah, heavy favorite. Who you got?
Just to win outright. Yeah, I'll take the Utes.
Yeah, just win outright.
Utah, please.
Utah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the next game.
All right, let's move on.
Michigan,
Next.
Texas in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, one of the more fun games to watch. Prince Chedsworth will be on the field. Who do you got, Jake?
Who?
That's Prince
Oh,
Chedsworth,
the
best mascot, one of the best mascots in bowl season. Learn ball.
Okay. I actually thought about Michigan for a bit, but there's so many opt-outs on the defensive side for things, and I don't know what's been going on there, just with all the scandal and stuff. But maybe it's a lot of positive momentum with Whittingham. That being said, yeah, give me Texas.
I'm really hoping Michigan. I hope Bryce Underwood pops off. Whittingham loves what he sees, and he keeps him, so Nebraska can try and get Devin Dampierre, but I don't think that happens. I like Texas.
Texas, yeah.
Tejas.
All right, Texas across the board. Next game up would be Miami and Ohio State. We've already picked this one. We will have those picks live in the ATS board. Check them out at Play the Fight Pod on X. Games
Wait,
after
outright?
that.
Jake?
No.
Oh, I thought he went outright.
I kid.
We had to talk about it. He did.
I kid.
Next games up are all tomorrow. That's just the college football playoff, which we've already picked. Do we want to go down the line with these quickly?
We have them on the board, but I don't know if you guys have any outright winners that we didn't know about based on what we have on the board already.
I'm going
because
Texas Tech,
I'm the
Indiana,
only one.
Georgia. I'm chalking it up. Sorry.
Jake's the only one on Alabama plus the points, unless he has it
I am
winning
on-
outright.
God, I thought about it. I really did.
SEC Jake. He's back. Look at him in his Georgia shirt.
I'm not going to pick Alabama outright.
I will say that
Like
I'm the
points.
only one. Are you guys all taking Tech outright? I assume if you're getting plus 2.5.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm the
Correct.
only one on Oregon there. That's including JT, and then everybody's on Georgia.
Where's
I
Texas
believe.
Tech old man in the comments? I think it was Texas Tech old man
Old
1991.
Texas Tech, man.
Old Texas Tech
There
man
he is.
1991. There he is. Get
Georgia,
him in
he said
there.
Georgia's going to
Hear that? He
Suggesting a
picked
new
him.
playoff. New playoff. Just take all the Power 4 teams. 16
Come
team
on.
playoff.
We love the G5 here. But all right, let's go to the next games. These are January 2nd, the last day we will pick these games. Let's kick it off at the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. Rice and Texas State. Texas State is a heavy favorite, gents.
Yep.
Who's winning it outright?
I think Rice lost a quarterback, but when you run the triple
Yes.
option, I don't know how much that really matters. It's like a 15-point spread. I took Rice in the points, but I'm assuming Texas State can just win. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's the hand sign? Is it this? Right?
Yeah,
Cat?
Cats. Yeah.
Just the same as Wayne State. So Texas State.
Is that the same
For
thing?
me.
Everybody's Wildcat does that, I'm pretty sure. Doesn't
Yeah,
Does
well,
anybody
this
we
is-
should have just asked the group. Does anybody have Rice?
Yeah.
Would anybody
Anybody-
pick Rice?
I love rice. Mostly on my dinner plate, not in this
Yeah.
game. Texas
My
State.
Chipotle bowl.
not here.
Yeah.
Not the Owls.
White or brown rice, Jake?
Oh, white rice.
Good man.
I mix
All
it
right.
up.
Navy, Cincinnati in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Obviously, big opt out on the Cincinnati side with Brendan Sorsby. Navy, 7.5-point favorite. Who do you like it outright, Jake?
Navy. I don't even
Navy.
think since he has a secondary to put together.
Yeah, Navy for me as well.
Go Cincy, beat Navy.
Wow.
Whoa.
That-
We're
that's a
on the
little
same
emotional
team
pick.
here.
I like
We're all
those
defending
teams.
our
I like
country.
being emotional. I
Never
like picking with my heart.
I'm never picking those guys.
It
Arizona,
The
SMU, the Holiday
rivalry's
Bowl.
real.
This one is on Fox, 2.5 8-point favorites are the Cats. Arizona, SMU. Who you got, Jake?
Big 12 just keeps rolling. Give me Arizona.
I will take SMU in this spot. I like SMU against the number here, and I think they win the game outright.
I really like Arizona here. I think SMU had an underrated year to this point, but I think this Arizona team, the last couple of weeks of the year was one of the more fun bets.
I'll take another Wildcat.
All right. I'll be the only solo one on SMU. Give me that money, that true money rolling through there. Wake Forest, Mississippi State in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Who will have mayonnaise dumped over them as the head coach? Mississippi State, Wake. Who you got, Jake?
What's the motivation factor for Mississippi State here? Jake Dickert's done an awesome
Here's
job.
your 5-7 team.
Yeah, I love Wake in this spot as the underdog.
I love Wake a lot. I think it's the SEC computer number.
Give me the dogs.
Oh, oh.
All right, 2-2 split to end the show. That is all the picks of the bowl games for this week. We appreciate you tuning in. More than you know, we talked bowl games. We talked college football playoff quarterfinal. Reminder, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button to the channel. This is College Football Heaven. Shop our great partner over at No Rivals. Best hats in collegiate sports. Code PTFS for free shipping. Reese is rocking a Vanderbilt cap on the game day. I shot at JP. Texas
Didn't realize I
Tech
did that. That's my
on
bad.
my
I
head.
grabbed it.
Code
Good man, Reese.
NoRivals.com. We appreciate you. We love you. We'll see you next
Go Hawks.
year. Gentlemen,
Happy New Year.
it's been an honor. We'll see you in 2026. Jake, take it away.
Yep. Appreciate you, Queso. You have a great day as well. Happy New Year. Let's play it.